Hmm. Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm. Sitting here trying to think of a good intro. And the only thing I can say is, man, oh man, I hope people wake up. I really hope people wake up. You know, when you have movie stars and TV stars and people in the music industry, all aspects of the music industry, saying they sold their souls to Lucifer so they could become famous. I mean, you know, Katy Perry, Beyonce, Rihanna, Lady Gaga, Shania Twain, and all the rest of them, and even all the rappers. They say, yeah, man, they're part of the Illuminati. They sold their soul to the devil. And you have all those people in Hollywood who say the same thing. Yeah, and they flash the signs, the Masonic signs, and the signs of the Illuminati and stuff like that. And people watch it, and it doesn't occur to them to think that, hey, maybe there's something to it. Maybe there is a force of evil in the world. And if there is a force of evil in the world, then maybe there's a force of good also. And maybe that good is Jesus. And maybe I should sit down and read the Bible and find out what's going on in the world and find out why this world is becoming more and more corrupted and more evil every week, every month. And it's only going to get worse. There's a lot of things I'd love to say, but YouTube would ban me in an instant. They would terminate my channel if I really, really spoke the truth. And it's too bad that people are so damn lazy and so damn stupid that they won't take the time to search for the truth beyond YouTube, beyond TikTok. There are other, you know, BitChute, Rumble, and many other places you can go on the internet and search for the truth and see the evidence, overwhelming evidence for yourself. And I hope, man, I hope people wake up. You know, I know biblically that most people will not make it into heaven. That's just a fact. Because most people don't want to believe, or most people will side with Lucifer. They will side with the Antichrist because that's what they choose to do, even when they do know the truth. It's sad, you know. But my only job is to present the truth, present the information, and hopefully someone will watch it and go, haha, this video has made me think about this world I live in a little bit differently. And maybe I should open up the Bible and start reading it and studying it and learning so I can fight against the forces of evil in this world. All right, so now on with the main video.
As the crowd continued to grow, the angry mob began to gather around the castle. The old man in the ivory tower said to his worried family, "Fear not. Simply create a story to tell all the farmers that the ones who live in the town are the reason their freedoms were restricted. Then all the peasants will fight amongst themselves." His family grew concerned that people would figure out this obvious deception. The old man smiled because he had played this game before. He knew it is easier to fool the people than to convince them that they had been fooled.
Our society is intentionally being pitted against itself right now. To unravel this story, here's some facts for those who are beginning to question the very real COVID virus, why it's here, and some practical advice for those who see what will happen now and over the next few years. No matter what your beliefs are, temporarily lay down those beliefs and be skeptical to what you see. Our beliefs are nothing more than filters for reality, a coping mechanism to block out what you don't want to hear. Going in as a skeptic gives your mind permission to listen. There are 3 simple questions to ask: why, how, and what. Many of you have been seeing what's been going on for a while, and to be frank, the constant barrage of bad news is no longer beneficial to your mental health. But there's a new crop of people who have started to get an idea of what the world is, and you're frustrated and depressed because it seems like there's nothing that can be done. That is only partially true. To understand what you can do about the world slowly deteriorating in front of your very eyes, you need to be aware of the situation you are in. Why is all of this happening? All of us are in the midst of a war. This war isn't the kind we're used to with traditional rifles and bombs. This war is about information. This is a form of non-violent warfare that has an incredibly high rate of success. People can plan for what they know, but they cannot prepare for something they are unaware of. This information war is in full swing, and we are losing badly. The news you read will be different from the news your friend reads, which is different from the news their friend reads. All of us are operating on a different worldview. Because of this, it makes any sort of meaningful resistance very difficult to materialize. If no one can agree on the actual problem, it makes combating that problem very difficult, as everyone has their own different opinions over the best course of action. This is exacerbated by the global media cartel. If you have dipped your feet in that rabbit hole, you should be aware by now that the entirety of the mainstream media is just another arm of the unelected intelligence community. While this is getting worse lately, it has been this way for over 50 years.
We do have people who submit pieces to American journals. Do you have any people paid by the CIA who are working for television networks? This, I think, gets into the kind of getting into the details, Mr. Chairman, that I'd like to get into in executive session. Do you have any people being paid by the CIA who are contributing to the national news services, AP and UPI? Well, again, I think we're getting into the kind of detail, Mr. Chairman, that I'd prefer to handle in executive session.
Literally everything you see on any mainstream media source, be it news, Netflix, billboards, magazines, YouTube videos, advertisements, or cable TV shows, are controlled and deliberately released to provoke certain reactions from you and everyone else. Virtually everything your mind is consuming. Through this, they are able to control the global conversation. Whatever the media cartel is talking about, we assume everyone else is talking about it. Through the use of repetition, the opinions they present to us we think are everyone else's opinions, or at least the majority.
The sharing of biased and false
news has become all too common on social media.
More alarming, some media outlets publish these things they simply aren't true without checking facts first.
Unfortunately, some members of the media use their platforms to push their own personal bias and agenda to control exactly what people think. And this is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
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 The majority of these media platforms are there for nothing more than to parrot whatever message is demanded by the biggest contributor.
Amazon has transformed its operations in response to COVID-19 to protect employees and keep packages flowing.
The company is keeping its employees safe and healthy while still delivering those packages to your doorstep. Keeping its employees safe and healthy. The company is keeping its employees safe. The company is keeping its employees safe. Millions of Americans staying at home are relying on Amazon.
And that is how it works. It's like a house of mirrors, where you're seeing the same thing over and over and over again, except it's distorted.
This division of inaccurate information divides us against one another. The truth is, most of us aren't buying into it, but because the global conversation is constantly talking about the same subjects throughout different mediums, we think that is what other people's beliefs are. We get stuck in a groupthink mentality, something science many decades ago has proven to be very powerful. This has the very unfortunate effect of changing the thoughts and feelings of many people so that they fall in line with the conversation.
The subject denies the evidence of his own eyes and yields to group influence. Sometimes we go along with the group because what they say convinces us they are right. This is called informational conformity. But sometimes we conform because we are apprehensive that the group will disapprove if we are deviant. This is called normative conformity. It reveals how people will deny what they see and submit to group pressure. It allows us not only to observe conformity, but to study the conditions that increase or reduce its occurrence.
We are easily manipulated with this process. Until this global manipulative conversation for the mainstream media is silenced, all of us will continue to be operating on conflicting and false worldviews. This is just the surface of the information war that has been quietly humming along for centuries, slowly changing the world and our perceptions of it little by little, until we find ourselves in this current inverse clown world we are in today. Our universities and schooling institutions were among the first to be corrupted.
That you took your kids out of the school. I have been hearing very much the same thing from many parents.
They took 8 and 9-year-olds and made them deconstruct their racial and sexual identity to figure out whether they were an oppressor or the oppressed. 8-year-olds, right? I mean, this is really damaging. Trans education program on these 8 and 9-year-old boys. And it wasn't about support. It was about, we felt like it was more about trying to convince them, like, hey, come on over. And the boys started to get confused. Then our kindergartner was told to write a letter to the Cleveland Indians objecting to their mascot. Now, he's 6.
My kids are not ready to be told they're white supremacists.
The result being multiple generations of people growing up filled with bad information from the earliest possible age, making it harder to overcome even when they see conflicting information with their very eyes. Science has degenerated from a pursuit of data, logic, and reason to a dogmatic edifice of almost religious belief systems. Information has become more abundant, while actual education has done nothing but decline over the decades. The modern human being has no idea where their food comes from, how their laws work, and that their money is based on absolutely nothing more than faith. We live as consumers only given the requisite information to part with our dollars to whomever pulls at our emotional strings the best. We have been manipulated into long workdays specifically because it makes for a purchase-happy public. Keeping our free time scarce means people pay a lot more for conveniences, gratification, and any other relief they can buy. It keeps us watching TV and its commercials, and it keeps us from following our ambitions. We have been led into a culture that has been engineered to leave us tired, hungry for indulgence, and willing to pay a lot for conveniences and entertainment, while we're vaguely dissatisfied with our lives so that we continue wanting things that we don't have. We buy so much because it always seems like something is still missing. We have no idea what we are as a species and have been filled with nothing but bad information that comes apart at the seams once you peel back the layers and apply even a hint of scrutiny. Why don't we know all of this? Why weren't we told in the schools or the media? Because no one is ever going to educate you on how to overthrow them. This has been done on purpose over a long period of time to turn self-sustaining, healthy humans into poisoned, ignorant consumers completely dependent on the institution for their survival. The obvious endgame for this entire endeavor being perpetrated on the humans of the world is control.
There is no God. Wait, you believe in the Bible? All roads lead to the same mountaintop.
No way to the Father but by the Son.
Christianity is stupid. God is dead. Shiva, the third god in the Hindu triumvirate. She is the goddess of destruction.
God is a woman.
Destruction. Destruction. In the iconographic representation called Ardhana Rishvara, it shows him with one half of the body as male and the other half as female. Baphomet.
Oh, yeah, we are in trouble.
Baphomet. Destruction. Better get to know Jesus. The days prophesied.
Is this real life? Is this real life? Real life?
Let no one deceive you by any means, for that day will not come unless the falling away comes first, and the man of sin is revealed, the son of perdition.
Behold, I send you out as sheep amidst the wolves.
This disturbing footage was shot outside of CERN, the European Organization for Nuclear Research, showing CERN scientists conducting what looks to be a satanic human sacrifice ritual. The ritual, which appears to be a mock human sacrifice, was conducted in front of a giant statue of the Hindu god Shiva.
Why? Because it's a sin before God.
Why?
Well,
stinky breath.
Yeah,
Why?
that's pretty evil of you, sir.
Yeah, I am.
And I hope and pray that you.
Yeah.
Well, that's what you do to babies, huh?
Yeah, I love it.
You love it, huh?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, I hope that you come to Christ, sir.
Oh, I never go to Christ.
I hope that you come to Christ,
No,
sir.
I don't go to Christ.
Yeah,
I don't listen to Christ.
You will have a darkened heart, sir.
I do have a darkened heart. Yeah.
You have a darkened heart.
I do very, very much
And
so.
you will stand
Yeah.
before God in judgment
Yes,
day.
I
one day.
will. No, I don't go to Christ.
take the blue pill. The story ends. You wake up in your bed and believe whatever you want to believe. Take the red pill, you stay in Wonderland, and I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes.